Warning. This limited series contains adult content containing, but not limited to, horrific scenes, nightmare scenarios, depictions of dismemberment and gore, and situations that may induce your darkest fears. For a full content warning, please see our show notes, because once you enter Haven, there is no turning back. The map has unraveled. The ink is now dry. Your soul to keep for the Demon King's prize. For now, you belong to Haven. This is Inkwell Haven.
All right, everyone, gather round, gather round. We still have so much to cover. You two in the back, I see you. No sneaking off, remember? I don't need any more folks running off like last time. Welcome to the auction house. While in operation, it sold everything from fine art to building supplies, farm equipment to livestock, and people. The locals believe the trouble began with a single woman. However, I'm sure you'll agree her enslavement was the true match to light this flame. The story goes that while standing on the podium, the woman, bound and ready for purchase, mysteriously broke free, interrupting the auctioneer's spiel. She cursed the people, the town, and the very ground Haven was built on. In a final display of defiant sacrifice, she slashed a knife across her throat, sealing the curse with her own blood and death. Others, of course, dismiss this as merely an urban legend. With the sudden closure of the auction house over a decade ago, no one thought it strange its remaining inventory was left abandoned inside. Thieves have broken in from time to time, be it from boredom or the rumors of hidden treasure. They enter with intent to carry away whatever they can. Unfortunately for them, their bodies are found among the artifacts. Eventually. There's no denying the bloody history lining the walls of the auction house. Some say haunts it still. Inside the auction house, things move by themselves. Cries and sobs can be heard in dark corners, and for unfortunate thieves, escape has never been an option. So, a word of advice as you step inside. Look, but Don't touch. As long as you leave the items alone, the auction house will leave you alone. We hope.
Voices swirl and parry around me as I wait for my number to be called. A few of the men leer at my exposed skin, and I want nothing more than to cover myself, but I can't. The transparency of my measly shift dress doesn't help either. A few feminine lips curl with unchecked disgust. I want to roll my eyes. However, the act is another thing I can't do. Be still, be obedient, be good.
All right, settle down, everyone. We're ready to resume the docket for the day. The next selection is lot number 791. Flor, we'll start the bidding at 25,000.
My heart flops like a dead fish as I'm pushed center stage. Hot fluorescent lights beat into my face, and the smell of mold and dust wrinkles my nose. Yet I remain statuesque, despite the glares mingled with lewd perusals. The bid caller's lips fly over my suggested worth as paddles pop and dip through the crowd like eager gophers. If only I had a mallet to whack each one to death with. Images of bloody bits and terrified screams glaze over my mind. A smile itches at the corner of my lips as I envision the caller losing an eye.
Sold!
The clap of the caller's gavel slams me back to reality.
To the gentleman bidder with paddle number 92, congratulations! Please wait until after all biddable items are showcased before claiming your lot. Please have proof of funds readily available, along with transportation arrangements.
I scan the crowd, but the lights in the hall prevent me from seeing anyone past the second row. My stage time is over as soon as it begins, however. Two corded neck men pick up my delicate frame, hustling me backstage to stand with the other auction lots. Rows upon rows of varying beauties await their turn on the block. A few stand with sold necklaces around their bronze shoulders, a look of defeat lining their hollow eyes. Some stand tall, their eyes following every movement of their captors, biding their time to escape. Secretly, I wish them luck. The rational part of my brain knowing what is in store. Fate is unescapable. Might as well make the most of what fate has to offer. Hours pass as the auction carries on. Boredom was my only companion, and a piss-poor one at that. However, I was used to this part. I just didn't like it much. Soon, the room filled with nothing but beauties, brandishing cheap jewelry with their new master's name on it. None of us acknowledged our neighbor, too consumed by what was to come.
Check out the titties on that one.
The auction house lackeys were back, their hungry eyes filling with soft skin and famished expressions. I was glad they were both too poor and too stupid to win one of our favors. No doubt they treated their property like horses who needed to be broken.
If I had the money, I'd buy one of them and whack off all night. Hell, my shit would break off from so much use.
How is that any different from how you already treat your dick?
I guess I could buy me a top hat, really live out this fantasy.
That's the spirit.
My cheeks fill with bile as the men carry on with their degrading banter. Each jarring comment flips my stomach out of orbit. I'm grateful the men don't have enough financial power to purchase me. However, it doesn't mean my new owner will contain any ounce of civility. My last owner surely didn't.
Looks like this little minx is next. Grab that canvas over there. Help me throw it over her.
Why, afraid I'll taint the merchandise?
No, idiot. States right here on the work order to deliver to her wrapped with as little exposure to sunlight as possible. The client wants her in pristine condition.
What?
Are you an avid country music listener? Join me, Miss Helen, and producer Kyle on the Texas Toast Podcast, where we talk with some of country music's biggest stars like Parker McCullum, Josh Abbott, and Pat Green, as well as my favorite part, new upcoming performers and songwriters like Dylan Gossett and Braxton Keith. We learn all about their journeys into music and what makes them tick, along with never-before-heard stories about the making of their songs. Join us every Tuesday and Friday wherever you get your podcasts, and you might just learn about your new favorite artists.
Whatever. As long as they tip well, hell, I'll dance with her if they ask me to.
Nobody wants to see your 2 left feet, Harold. Now help me before we're late.
The men bustle around me, fitting my cage with the stained canvas. I'm all too happy for the gold bars keeping the solid fabric from touching my skin. I have little reservation the material would compromise my perfect mold. I'm jostled and clumsily shoved into a vehicle. The journey isn't long, and I'm soon reunited with my rancid delivery men. Their ragged breaths flutter the canvas as they wheeze and curse, trying to place me in my new home.
Just in here. This room has the perfect light for her.
Grunts and gasping groans are the only reply. My attention peaks up at the sound of my new master's voice.
Yes, right there is good.
The voice is seasoned with age, but not so close to the grave I'd hope for early release. The canvas rips from my cage, flooding in light. My eyes water from the intrusion, but I don't flinch. Instead, I freeze, like a doe in snow, assessing her new surroundings. Chocolate red-rimmed hues begin to form the room around me. The 2 movers from the auction house frame a tall, round-bellied man in the center of the room. His gray eyes lavish my exposed flesh, pebbling it with revulsion. Be still. Be obedient. Be good. I repeat the mantra as my new owner glides forward. His face is riddled with age lines and white wisps. My owner's suit strains against his plumped form, cheapening its evident exorbitant price tag. A sneering smile cracks his lips, no doubt a lewd thought tickling his mind.
She is perfect.
Indeed, sir. Indeed.
My owner whirls, seeming to have forgotten the other men in the room.
Get out.
We meant no disrespect. We were just agreeing with you.
Did I stutter? Get out before I decide your employer no longer suits you.
The men scramble from the room at my owner's command.
And keep your eyes downcast. Do not dare to look upon her again.
The men obey, slamming the door, leaving me alone with my new master. He glares at the door for a full minute, then turns his attention back to me.
You, my sweet Jezebel, are exquisite, but you are mine. I will not have filth gazing upon you.
With his declaration, he picks up my sheet and repositions it back on my prison's frame. And so, I wait. I am still. I am obedient. I am good. My weeks bleed together, but I do not give in to my urges. Be still, be obedient, be good. Every morning my master rips the canvas from my prison and commences his watch. He watches me from an armchair a servant placed in the room after my second day. His gray eyes take me in, but nothing more, for now. His fingers flex and contract with his unmet desires. I see his intent, but I am relieved by his patience. This game is my favorite. I despise the ones over too soon, the ones altered by jealous wives or girlfriends or mistresses. Games started with globs of projected saliva and ending in broken heaps and new masters. This game is all about savoring. Be still, be obedient, be good. On day 75, my master's composure breaks. It's been a week since he's occupied the chair. The canvas rips away, startling me from my daydream. A small exhalation falls into the folds of the tarp, but I hold the end of my cry in. Hungry gray eyes take me in as if for the first time. I fear he is moments from falling onto me, to bursting my game too soon. My master steps back, startled by my evolved features. Where fabric once fell like a sheet, it now crests over round peaks. My hair flows like a ruddy cat's tail to my calf. My coy lips still hold the same shape, but are fuller. A gasp leaves my master's crusting lips, and I preen. His features no longer resemble an out-of-season St. Nick. Luxurious fabric hangs dully on his willowing frame. Limp white hair frames his cheeks, and eyes retreat into his skull. His gray tongue darts out, swiping over cracked lips as he moves forward, inspecting me.
I must be mad.
Hot, acrid breath glides across my cage, but I refuse to flinch.
Mad to think your beauty could compare to my memories.
My jailer inhales my scent like an aged glass of Syrah. Knobby fingers ring around my frame before he shudders, pushing himself away. My owner stalks back and forth across the Parisian rug. I wait.
It's funny, all things considered. When I saw you, I thought my urges would be cured. Oh, how wrong I was.
He stops abruptly, neck turning in my direction. The glare rimming his eyes grates against me. But I don't let it show. Be still, be obedient, be good.
You look like her. Or rather, she looked like you. A week is far too long. Far, far too long.
I let him warble on, muttering about this other woman, recounting the feel of her skin and the way her breath hitched when he placed his hands around her throat. Glass shattering startles my gaze to him. A crushed crystal tumbler lay at his feet. The master stares at it as if it will put itself back together. Is that how he gazed upon her when he was finished? He leaves soon after, haunted eyes unseeing as I watch him go, a conscience the man didn't previously own, blooming to life in the center of his chest. However, the guilt doesn't outweigh his urges. We both know it. Days fall into circadian lethargy as I wait, watching the degradation of my master. His bones barely hold his skin upright, his hair gone and never sprouting back. His confessions and sins pile around the room as he lays them out for me to see. as if his offerings will appease his sweet Jezebel. Be still, be obedient. But Master sure hasn't been good. The moon leaks across the room on the night I decide it was time. My body hungers for the final stage of the game. Tentatively, my hand lifts towards the frame of my cage and pushes against the thin barrier. Moonlight sweeps across the emerging limb, illuminating the shine of it. The frame of my home runs slick with my touch, the ornate filigree dissolving as I move fully into the room. Cold tendrils course down my back and calves as my gossamer shift begins to melt away. I don't have long until this form joins it. With doe feet, I proceed to the door of my room, cracking it open. Darkness fills the outer region, and I move into it. The house is silent, save for the pitter-patter of my colorful exterior marking the brocade carpet. Dots of red, cream, and gold drip from me with each step, my painted form shedding under the pressure of this reality. My feet carry me to a heavy wood door, and I pause, listening. Light snoring drifts from the gap beneath the barrier, tipping my lips toward the ceiling. Excitement pounds against my chest along with the weight of my beloved town. Haven runs through every fiber of my being, but my ties are not ones crafted from generational ties. This was one pulsing with hunger from another dimension, from a world of fiery damnation and tortured souls. My blood sang with the need to devour the weak and punish the wicked. It was the blood of a king, my skin his parchment, my blood sloshing in his inkwell. With his wicked strokes, he fashioned me into a sentinel with free will to carry out his work. Pushing the door to my owner's room open, I enter his domain. My dress is gone. Pieces of it lay in misshapen globs on the floor like breadcrumbs. I don't worry about the mess. All traces of my marks are always gone by morning. Droplets continue to rain from my hair, shortening the long locks, but they too will soon be restored. Rustling fabric pulls my attention to the four-post bed. I move to stand at its foot as my master rouses from sleep. He rubs his eyes and sits up, confusion at what woke him, marring his wrinkled face. The moment his eyes land on me, he cries out, his head colliding with the headboard. He groans, rubbing a sore spot, then blinks back in my direction.
Am I dreaming? Or have I finally gone mad?
I stare at him a moment, unmoving, as his eyes turn molten.
Madness indeed.
Desire is madness, and yours has called me to life. The soft tone of my voice has the aged man flinching, not expecting the object of his obsession to reply. I am here to fulfill my desires. With deliberate, slow movements, I crest the foot of the bed, crawling up his length. Surprise fills his face as his back falls to the sheets, and I grin. Swatches of color smear across the duvet, tracking my progress. I rise to my knees, looming over his chest, allowing him to take in my beauty.
You are more beautiful in reality than on canvas.
I lean down, allowing the swell of my breast to press against his chest. My lips feather like a lover against his ear, and we both shiver in anticipation. And I am hungry in this reality as well. I don't allow my words to settle, instead letting my aching fangs pierce into his flesh. A surprise howl leaves my owner's throat. I pull back, ripping a chunk of delicious meat away. Blood paints my alabaster chin, dribbling down my neck and into his screaming mouth. He tries to buck me off, but his body is too frail. For weeks, I waited, allowing his feverish gaze to fuel me for this moment. Trapped within the frame of my painting, I can only draw on my owner's energy. My beauty lures my prey in. Their transfixed gazes allow me to take from them for hours, reducing their bodies to near ash. My body bloats deliciously as I store their life force for months until my thirst grows too painful, until the game has reached its crescendo. Some last more than others, while past owners I've teased, running through their paintings in their homes, or changing my position just so to unfurl them into madness. With a frenzied cry, I descend. Blood seeps into the sheets, turning them black under my prey. I gorge myself on body and soul, filling my belly until there is nothing left but his bones to pick my teeth. With a sated smile, I drunkenly make my way back to my portrait and climb inside. In the morning, the police will be called, and the cycle will begin again. I will be still. I will be obedient. I will be good. I will be sold. And I will wait.
Alrighty, folks. Here we go on another stop. This time, we're headed to the lighthouse. And since it's on the coast of Haven, I think the perfect song for our sing-along would be My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean. Ready? A 1 and a 2 and a...
Thank you for joining us for your tour within Haven. Haven Inkwell is a Halloween collaboration production by the Chaos crew of audio drama creators, The Grotto, The Morbid Forest, Auditorium, Soul Operator, Mortis Maledictum, Syntax, It's All in the Cards, The Liminal Lands, Do You Copy, Ethics Town, and Cryptically Yours. On today's episode, you've heard Sold, written by Naomi Richards of the Morbid Forest Podcast, with narration provided by Grace Stone as Marylin, the tour guide, Naomi Richards as Flor, Kiefer Light as the Auctioneer, Shawn Moreau as Harold, Matthew Trevino as Dave, and Ron Hyatt as the owner. You can follow the Morbid Forest on Twitter, Threads, and on Instagram. The link is down in the show notes. Theme music provided by Joseph Rutledge. Supporting music and sound design provided by Epidemic Sound. Story and sound editing by Naomi Richards. Connective script written by Grace Stone and edited by Naomi Richards. Cover art by Kit Paterson and individual show art by Kaila Crockett. And with that, we'll see you at the next stop.